Hey everyone, it's Alice here and welcome back to the Never Ending Tea Party. Get comfy and grab a nice hot drink as we continue with episode 4 of Ace Attorney Investigations. In the last video, we were sent into the past to experience Edgeworth's would-be first case. Unfortunately, things did not go to plan, with the prosecutor Edgeworth would have been standing in for and the defendant being murdered. Before we start, if you want to get caught up before watching, take a look at the linked playlist in the description. And let's go. So we've just pieced together that these two guys didn't actually seem to kill each other. It looks like it's been set up. Here's the autopsy report. She's so short in this. Franziska, she's so short. It is probable that Mr. Rell survived for a short time after he was shot. However, Mr. Faraday died instantaneously from his stabbing. Interesting. Okay. It looks like we now know everything we need to know about this case. Are you sure we know everything? Of course! The incident began with Mr. Faraday attempting to get his revenge. The prosecutor went into a rage from being accused and tried to kill the defendant. Oh, look at her hand. She does the same thing that her father does. Manfred von Karma, like gripping her arm. But the defendant fought back and they ended up killing each other. It's all very clear and simple. There is absolutely no margin for doubt. Well, there is though. We figured it out last time. Do you really believe that to be the truth? Ah, are you saying that just because I figured out the truth before you, that you don't want to believe it's true? Nah. It's all right. If you disagree with my argument, then prove me wrong. Well, if there are any contradictions to be found, that is. Don't worry, I will. Yeah, we have got contradictions. We got one, at least, that I can think... No, two that I can think of. Okay, so here's her argument then. What happened? Mr. Faraday's death was instantaneous, while Mr. Rell survived for a short time. From this, it is obvious that Mr. Faraday died after he shot Mr. Rell. And Mr. Rell, while on the brink of death, stole Mr. Faraday's knife and stabbed him. Those are the facts of this case. Nuh-uh. Mr. Faraday's death was instantaneous, therefore he must have attacked first. Proving that logic to be false is probably the fastest way to show her that she's wrong. In that case, I should first look for any holes in her theory. Yeah. So, shall we press some of her arguments? Well, this is true because that's what the autopsy says, right? From this, it is obvious that Mr. Faraday died after he shot Mr. Rell. Not necessarily. Let's press her on this one.
Hold it!
Mr. Faraday shot Mr. Rell before he died. Do you have any basis for that statement? Your foolishness has no end, does it? Now, I hate to repeat myself, however, Mr. Faraday died instantaneously. That's all the basis I need. Yeah, but somebody could have killed him and then killed the other guy. There still could be a third party. Alright, so if Mr. Faraday died instantaneously, then he must have attacked Mr. Rell before being stabbed. You're finally beginning to catch on, I see. And Mr. Rell, while on the brink of death, stole Mr. Faraday's knife and stabbed him. Press. So, you believe that the dying Mr. Rell stole the knife from Mr. Faraday. Mr. Rell became desperate as he did not want to die. Human beings can do amazing things when they're put to the test. So, the two men struggled. And in the end, Mr. Rell was able to grab the knife and stab Mr. Faraday. The messy condition of this room is a testament to their struggle. Oh, no, because actually, the table is perfectly, tidy and neat. Huh. Yes, my logic is perfectly sound. Can you really say that it's perfect? What are you insinuating? Nothing. However, I can't let what you said slide by without further inquiry. One must be clear and precise. So if you could append that statement to your testimony. Fine. Yeah, well we can present this. We can present something to this, rather. Let's do it. God, other than gunshot, didn't hear a sign of struggle. Maybe it's this one then. I did think we would have something like this to do with the plastic bags where it says there doesn't seem to have been a struggle, but it was fired. And yeah, also it says here, the bullet that killed Rell was fired from a few yards away. So if they were struggling and attacked each other, wouldn't it be as if, he'd been shot from close range? I'm going to try presenting this because the guard, it specifically says here the guard didn't hear signs of a struggle. So it's not exactly what I wanted to present, but it's close enough.
Objection!
I like how he winks. So corny. If the two men were fighting, their struggle would have surely caused quite a bit of noise. However, Detective Gumshoe testified that he heard absolutely nothing. Ha! You placed too much faith in that detective's testimony, you know. But for the sake of argument, let's say there wasn't a fight. How then did Mr. Rell get his hands on the knife? Mr. Faraday's bag was sitting right here in lobby number 2. It's not hard to imagine that perhaps Mr. Rell saw a chance and took it out at some point. So, what you're saying is this. Mr. Rell took a chance when he saw the opportunity and took the knife from the bag. And then Mr. Faraday shot Mr. Rell after being stabbed. Isn't there something strange in Franziska's statement just now? Well, let's look at the history, because I can't remember fully. The gun Mr. Faraday is holding is in the wrong hand. Whatever hand he uses, the gun is in the other hand, so we figured that out last time. Yes, something's off. Something's gonna be off. Wait, something doesn't add up. Oh, really? It's simply not possible for Mr. Faraday to have shot Mr. Rell after being stabbed. Is it going to be the pen, do you think? I mean, this is kind of interesting as well, the fact that it said fired from a few yards away, yet they were found on top of each other, essentially. I'm going to try this, because it specifically says about him being left-handed, but it could, if this is wrong, then I will try this gun. So let's see if this is right.
Take that!
No, I'm not right. This is the piece of evidence that proves it. Ah, and what is this supposed to prove? Take a closer look. I'm still not seeing it. Huh, in that case, I'll just have to try and explain it to you. Miles Edgeworth, you should know by now that you can't fool me. I guess this evidence was unrelated after all. I like how he starts off so confident and then he's like, actually no, I don't know what I'm talking about. Have to think this over. Okay, well, we know... Mr. Rell grabbed the knife from Mr. Faraday's bag when he wasn't paying attention. And Mr. Faraday shot Mr. Rell after being stabbed by the knife. But it just doesn't add up, and I have the evidence that proves it doesn't. Okay, this is the only thing I can think of. And if it's not this, then I'll really put my thinking cap on. But it's got to be this, right? Fired from a few yards away. If she's arguing that Rell was stabbed and then immediately... No, sorry, that Faraday was stabbed and then immediately shot him. To stab somebody, especially with such a small knife, you'd have to be very close to them, right? Let's try it. What? Really? Is it just this? If he died instantaneously, how could he have shot Rel? I'm going to try presenting this because I think that's it. The stab wound caused him to die straight away. Okay, I think I just needed to actually look at this properly. I'm getting hung up on the left-handed business and the game wants me to go in a certain order and I'm just skipping ahead. Okay, we'll try that. Yeah, that's it. Okay. According to the coroner's report, Mr. Faraday died instantaneously. Yeah, they made a big deal about that. I must have just gone, and not actually taken it in. That he died immediately upon being stabbed by the knife. Yes, there's no time to shoot. Ergo, he could not possibly have fired the gun after that. Oh, you got me. Stop winking, it's really corny. But of course. Well then, if the report is correct, then there is only one correct explanation. If we suppose that Mr. Rel attacked first, then Mr. Faraday, who died instantaneously, would have been unable to kill Mr. Rel. Therefore, Mr. Rel must have stabbed Mr. Faraday after he was shot. Then they both died. That is the only explanation that makes logical sense. Negating your opponent's ideas in order to prove your own theory. I see you've been studying, Franziska. I just wanted to explain it to you as simply as possible. Before you foolishly propose a foolish theory that only a foolish fool like you could. How naive of you to believe that only your opinions are valid, and still expect to discover the truth that the crime scene offers you. Franziska, you've still got a ways to go. Uh-oh, don't make her mad, Edgeworth. She's got a riding crop. What are you talking about? Are you saying there's a flaw in my logic? Yes. Mr. Faraday died instantly, and the fact that he did is what gives rise to the contradiction in this scene. The contradiction here in this crime scene is... Not the order of events. Right, we've just sorted that out. The order the bodies fell... Oh, I'm going to have to look at that. Oh, yeah, that... Do you know what? That kind of could be it, right? Faraday was stabbed and died straight away. I think it might be the body... The order the bodies fell. Because if Faraday died first, he should have fell first, right? If he died instantaneously, he would have fallen over immediately. So why is he on top of Rel unless somebody moved the body? That's the biggest flaw at the moment, I think. The evidence bags are suspicious, but that could be explained away in a few ways. I think it's definitely the bodies. Yeah, I was right. Let me get this straight. What you're arguing is this. Mr. Faraday took the gun from his evidence bag and shot Mr. Rel. Then the wounded Mr. Rel found an opportunity to take the knife and strike back. Upon being stabbed, Mr. Faraday died on the spot, and Mr. Rel died thereafter. If that's the case, then how do you explain this? Take a good look at the order in which their bodies are piled. No! Mr. Faraday's body is lying on top of Mr. Rel's. Therefore, Mr. Rel must have died before Mr. Faraday. Impossible! Yes, I agree that it seems strange no matter what angle you approach it from. Which means that the real mystery behind this crime scene that we must solve... No, not so fast, Miles Edgeworth. What now? I simply think that you ought to think a bit more outside the box. And that it's even clearer now that the incident started with Mr. Faraday's murderous intent. She sure bounced back quickly. An explanation won't be enough this time. It's going to take some very decisive evidence to prove her wrong. Oh, okay, round 2. What happened? Part 2. It was just chance that Mr. Faraday's body fell on top of Mr. Rell's. The two bodies fell in a pile, which indicates that they attacked each other at the same time. It really doesn't matter in the slightest that they fell in the opposite order. No, something about that's not right, but I just know that Franziska's explanation isn't absolutely correct. All I have to do is find a hole in her logic. Once I do, I can then present her with the evidence that proves the contradiction. Let's do it. Well, let's start by pressing. Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, well, I don't think we'd get anything from this one. Yeah, this is the kicker, right? Let's press this one.
Hold it!
What do you mean by they attacked each other at the same time? I assume Mr. Faraday had the two different weapons in his hands. Like dual-wielding. Dual-wielding gun and knife. He made to attack Mr. Rell while holding both the knife and revolver. And then, after Mr. Faraday fired the gun, Mr. Rell grabbed the knife as he was falling and stabbed Mr. Faraday. That is how Mr. Rell wound up on the bottom with Mr. Faraday on top. At close range, that is more than possible. Oh, you've just sealed the deal, Franziska, because it wasn't at close range. Yes, we've got her. Yes, it's possible, but... Well, if you have any other ideas, then show me what you've got. Oh, I will. And to that extent, I'd like for you to append what you just said to your testimony. Yes. I don't see any point to that, but as you please. Nope. Let's present. We know what to present here, right? Yeah, this one. He was killed from a few yards away.
Objection!
We got her. I don't like that pose. So, you believe they killed each other at close range? Sorry, but that's impossible. Just as it is written in the crime scene notes. The firing of the handgun did not leave a gunpowder burn on Mr. Rell's clothes. Therefore, Mr. Rell and the gun must have been separated by a distance of at least 2 or 3 yards. Yeah, we got the music, yeah. Ah! Yes, this is by far the biggest contradiction. The two bodies are piled up on each other, yet the gun was fired from a distance. And with there being no chance that Mr. Rell moved that far after being shot, that leaves only one possible explanation. Well, what a completely foolish line of foolish thought from a thoroughly foolish fool. If I'm not right, then who was it that made the first move with the intent to kill, huh? Who? The person that attacked first with murderous intent? That would be... I don't think it was either of them. I think it's been set up. Here in this room. Contradictions appear, no matter which man we claim attacked first. Yeah, exactly. Like, we've just eradicated a contradiction for both ways, right? Thus, there can be only one explanation. There was a third person here. I think because the window's open, I think somebody leaned through the window and shot through the window. It was that third person who killed both Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rell. But wait, no, because they would have needed to move the bodies, right? So, well, I don't know. That gets rid of that theory. And set their bodies up to make it look like a double murder. That third person is the real culprit. Miles Edgeworth, there's just one thing you're missing. Evidence, correct? Exactly. Everything you've said up until now is nothing but a story played out in your head. However, this is where the real test begins. Yeah, I don't have evidence, but it's what... When you eradicate everything else, what remains must be what happened, right? Can you prove that there was a third person involved in this crime? Of course. If a third person was truly here, that fact would resolve the glaring contradiction. The proof that this has all been a setup, made to look like they killed each other. I'll present it and lay bare the final piece of the puzzle that's not yet in place. What is the piece of evidence that proves there is a third person involved? I mean, the fact that the plastic bags were strewn around contradicts the fact that there was no struggle. And if there was no struggle, then they didn't just calmly murder each other, did they? Yeah, I think I'm going to try this. And if this is wrong, I'll go with the fountain pen. Although I think we might be done with that. I seem to remember. It's been a couple of days since I recorded the other part, but I seem to remember we already looked at this one. But yeah, let's try the plastic bag. Oh, good one. Good thing we went for that one. The gun in Mr. Faraday's hand and the plastic bag with his blood on it. Those two items point to the presence of a third person. How so? Recall Detective Gumshoe's testimony. I was in the hallway the whole time, but I didn't hear a single peep of a struggle. If there wasn't a struggle in this room, then there shouldn't be any plastic bags on the ground. Meaning that someone else must have deliberately scattered them around. Yeah, he's right. You can't deny that he's right, Franziska. Do you not see the possibility in this? Disregarding the gun for the moment, there's a high probability of blood splatter when a knife is used on a person. If the culprit held the knife with a plastic bag around it, they could use the bag to catch any blood splatter from when they withdrew the knife. Oh, is that what he's thinking the bag is from? Then, by spreading a few more plastic bags around, mixing the bloody one in with them, and arranging the room to make it look like there was a struggle between the two, they were able to conceal their presence. Why are you screaming, Franziska? Like, what? This is good. We're figuring out the crime. We're getting to the truth. Or is she just because I beat her? Maybe. Looks like we've still got a long way to go in this investigation. Yes.
Objection!
Who? Who is this? Oh, her. What the heck's up with you, pal? Mr. Bad, I advise you to place Detective Gumshoe under arrest. No, not again. Poor Gumshoe, he just keeps getting arrested and accused. He's so unlucky. What? Stamping his feet. What's the meaning of this? Looks like you're not man enough to discipline your own subordinate. Don't you dare. That detective claims he was there, standing in front of the door the entire time, rather. But I have it on good authority that it was all a giant lie. Miss Yu, I ask that you please explain that last statement. I'll let His Honour explain it himself. I saw it with my own eyes, I tell you. During the recess, there was a period of time when there was no one in the hallway. What? See, Mr. Bad? So, I ask you, why would a detective who was supposedly doing his job the whole time want to fabricate such a lie? Look at that guy still saluting in the corner. Gumshoe, did you kill Faraday? No! Of course not, sir. It would appear that the one who set this whole crime scene up is that detective. No. No, we'll protect Gumshoe. Which basically renders his testimony a complete lie and wholly invalid. It looks like your perfect logic has just come tumbling down, Miles. Yeah. I was in the hallway the whole time, but I didn't hear a single peep of a struggle. Is that statement really a lie? Detective Gumshoe, you're now suspect in the murder of 2 men. Now, spit out the truth, or so help me. I haven't lied to anyone, sir. Honest. I really was there. I was in the hallway the whole time.
Hold it!
Detective Bad, I ask that you please do not act without my permission. After all, I am the one who is heading up this investigation, am I not? Yeah, pull rank. Pull rank, Edgeworth. Don't talk like you know what's going on, boy. Oh no, stop winking. All I want is for this investigation to run perfectly. Perfection is the only wish of a disciple of Von Karma, after all. Therefore, before you take Detective Gumshoe into custody, I'd like to set the record straight on something. And what's that? What should I ask Detective Gumshoe about? Can we ask all 3? Well, what motive would he have? Like, why he wasn't in the hallway? He's saying he is in the hallway, so that's irrelevant. He's just going to say, but I was in the hallway. But motive? Well, why would he want to kill these guys? I suppose the one thing I'd like clarified is Detective Gumshoe's motive for committing this crime. Motive, huh? Gumshoe, you got a grudge against Faraday or anything? No, sir. Not me. Not a single bad thing against Mr. Faraday, sir. Is that a fact?
Objection!
He's terrifying. Look at his eyes. You really have a problem with lying, don't you, Detective Gumshoe? I'm telling you, I am not lying. The more unnatural you act, the more suspicious you become, you know. If you want a motive, Edgeworth, I have one for you right here. Could you please share it with us? However, be forewarned that I won't hesitate to object to flights of fancy. Because all I'm interested in is the perfect explanation. You're serious, aren't you? Fine. You amuse me, so I'll humour you with a little courtroom practice. Gumshoe's motive. I'm interested to hear exactly what she thinks his motive could be. It was about a week ago. I saw the detective get chewed out by a livid Faraday in front of the precinct. He stood there super pale as Mr. Faraday yelled, "That's a salary cut for you, you nitwit." A brand new detective suddenly getting his salary cut. That's reason enough for a grudge. Well, how's that for the perfect explanation? A grudge, yeah, but for murder? I don't know. You totally misunderstand me, pal. No matter how mad I get, I can never hold a grudge. Yeah, he's a little bit too... He's too much of a puppy. Quiet. We can't trust anything you say. Sir. There's nothing wrong with the motive she proposed, per se. But there are some gaps in her logic that need to be filled in. Ms. Yu's perfect explanation may not be so perfect after all. Okay. Let's press her on this one.
Hold it!
Just try and get as much info as we can. Mr. Faraday was upset. Yeah, you know what else? Mr. Faraday isn't exactly known to get angry often. But there he was, totally beat red in the face. What an inappropriate time to be finding that funny. He's dead. His body is literally in the room. And the offending detective just stood there, pale as a ghost, like he was about to die. Just like the face he's making now, right? That's also unprofessional, but okay. I'm completely innocent, I tell you. The poor man. It was quite the scene with the detective. Maybe we press this.
Hold it!
To cut a new detective's salary right off the bat like that. I'm not really familiar with the way you guys relate, but is that common practice? Oh, whoops, sorry, I skipped it. Speaking of cutting my salary, didn't you threaten to do that to me earlier too? Yeah, I suppose I did. It's only natural to cut a worthless detective's salary down to their actual worth. My father can even fire anyone, new or old, with a snap of his fingers. That's toxic. Do you think maybe that's reason enough for detectives to hate you people? Yeah, I mean, I would. Well, I guess they really shouldn't cut people's pay. Detective Bad. Don't tell me Mr. Von Karma cut your salary earlier. They're really devoted to this bit. How's that for perfect explanation? It's rubbish, because it's just conjecture. Well, we'll press it.
Hold it!
You call your explanation perfect? Is it not to your liking? No. Unfortunately for you, it's just not up to my standards. Oh, is there something you want me to clarify in that case? What should I do? Should I raise an objection? Yeah, let's do it. Alright, if you could clear this one thing up for me. We don't need the Faraday and Gumshoe's relation. Motive for killing Mr. Rell, I guess she'd just say, well, he was a witness, so he had to get rid of him. How Mr. Faraday was killed, we know that. Maybe let's go with this, actually. Let's try it. We can try again if it's wrong. I understand Detective Gumshoe's potential motive for killing Mr. Faraday. However, what about his motive for killing Mr. Rell? His motive for killing Rell? Like I would know. There was no clear motive for both of the murders. Then I doubt this incident would have occurred. Wouldn't you agree? Is she going to laugh? Is there anyone else who might have had a grudge against either of the two men? Or should we look into that ourselves? Was it her? Is she going to be the killer? It's worth thinking about, right? Because they're all connected to this case a few years ago with the with her sister when her sister was killed. Maybe she's got a grudge. Oh, in that case, I have absolutely no idea. What? That's impossible. She must know something. Wait. Can you please not glare at me like that? It makes me laugh. I didn't even do anything, and you're already laughing away. Well, anyway, the way I see it, as long as he had a motive to kill one of the two, this crime would have played out the way it did anyway. Oh? Would you care to explain your logic? Round 2. And this time, please try to provide a truly perfect explanation. Perfect this, perfect that. Stop being so uptight. Or is that a requisite trait for being a Von Karma? Miles Edgeworth, I demand that you shut this rude woman up. I wish you'd both be quiet for just 1 second. Oh well, I guess I'll just have to explain it to you kids. Yeah, please do. Motive to kill the men. There's no one out there with a motive to kill both Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rell. All you really have to establish is that someone had a grudge against one of the two men. Mr. Ral, who happened to be there, became a witness to Mr. Faraday's murder. Yeah, she's going the route that I said she would. Saying that he was a witness, so he had to be gotten rid of. Therefore, he was killed out of necessity and set up to look like they'd killed each other. Ooh. I wonder if that's really true. Is there no one out there with a grudge against both men? Yeah, I think there is. I think it's people who were involved in the case a few years ago. I should take another hard look at the evidence for this morning's case. The second KG8 incident, as people are calling it, involving an embassy staff member and the two men who both wound up as suspects in the case. Is there someone else I'm overlooking who is somehow related to them? Well, let's do what Edgeworth suggested and have a look at the evidence for this. Cadopian Embassy staff member Manny Cochin found not guilty. The victim CCU. About our profiles. Prosecutor of the KG8 incident. Oh, hang on. Wait. Her sister was murdered, supposedly, allegedly, by this guy, Manny Cochin, right? However, he was found not guilty. The prosecutor for that case was Byrne Faraday. So he, in Yu's eyes, he failed to prosecute her sister's killer. I don't know how Mackerel is linked to this though. Embassy staff killing suspect. He was killed in lobby number 2. Manny Cochin, staff member. I'm not sure entirely how... I understand why somebody would have a grudge against Faraday, but I'm not sure about this guy. But I still think she has a motive. I don't feel like we know enough about Rel. But I'm going to present this because this would be why somebody would have a grudge against Faraday more so than Rel.
Objection!
Yeah, I thought that would do it, but I'm unsure how Rel comes into it, so let's see how that works. I'm probably just missing something, and you're probably shouting at me, but it's this, don't you remember? No, I don't remember. I'm going to find out though. Ms. Yu, I believe there is someone you overlooked in making your statement. Or rather, is it because you'd rather not bring this person up? What do you mean? We're looking for someone with a reason to kill both Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rel. I can think of at least one person that fits the bill. He was the suspect in the original KG8 incident, and a member of the Cadopian Embassy staff, Mr. Manny Cochin. Oh, so... Right, Manny Cochin. But wait, he was found not guilty. Oh, I'm confused now. That's right, the very man who came to visit you earlier out in the hallway. The man who killed a member of the Cadopian Embassy staff, Mr. Rel, and the man who was the lead prosecutor of the KG8 incident, Mr. Faraday. Oh, I'm getting confused. So, is Cochin angry because Faraday tried to convict him of a crime he didn't commit? Okay, well, let's carry on. I think I'm just being a bit of a dumb. We'll find out. Are you telling me that Mr. Cochin has no reason at all to kill both of these men? Well, I suppose he might have a reason or two. You covered for me, pal. Oh, is this the start of Gumshoe, like, really admiring Edgeworth? He saved him. Maybe you're not such a bad guy after all. Don't get ahead of yourself. You're still a suspect, make no mistake about that. The perfect evidence, the perfect testimony, these are the only things I wish to hold. But I didn't do it. You will stay under my authority and go investigate Mr. Manny Cochin for me. And remember, I will not be very forgiving should any of this leak out. You want to investigate Cochin? You'd just be wasting your time. And why is that? Cochin was up in the viewing gallery, watching the trial. Or so I was told. Every cop in this place has been keeping an eye on the guy since he arrived. Then the only real suspect we have is still Detective Gumshoe. I suppose so. No, poor Gumshoe. No way. Come on, Detective Bad. You've got to believe me, sir. I really was in that hallway the whole time, sir. I never took a single step into this room, sir. Okay, then are you saying there was someone else who passed through the hallway? No, there was no one else, sir. Then why should I believe you didn't do it? That is one incredibly foolish detective. Standing right in front of a crime scene all by himself. It's as good as a confession of guilt. Have to admit, it's a bit strange. Most criminals will fabricate some sort of lie to escape their crimes. And if that detective really wanted to prove that he is innocent, you'd think he would at the very least offer up, "I spaced out while on duty," or the like. But no, he's a new detective. He's not going to do anything to jeopardise his career at this point. Come on, Gumshoe. Time for your interrogation. Oh, Detective Bad. Oh, it'll be okay, Gumshoe. We'll help you. Miles Edgeworth, I will go on ahead and report this to Papa. And that, as they say, is that. Right, everyone? Ho ho ho. Oh, Judge. It's not that simple. Well, I suppose we should both be getting back to our real jobs now, huh? Before we do, Miss Yu, there's something I'd like to speak with you about. What is it? Oh, we can investigate. Well, let's talk to her. I don't think he's going to say anything new at this point. So, what did you want to ask me about? The KG8 incident. The current case of the murdered Cadopian Embassy staff member. I've heard that people have been calling it the second KG8 incident. Only among you law enforcement types. And what about it? I'd like for you to tell me everything you know about the original KG8 incident. I'm afraid I can't help you. I don't know anything beyond what was reported in the papers. No, I believe you know much more, since you are directly tied to the KG8 incident. I'd appreciate it if you stop with the false accusations. Baseless outbursts are useless both inside and outside the courtroom, don't you know? I do, but I also know that I do have a leg to stand on here. Yeah. Think you can stop making that ultra-serious face in front of me? Ugh. If you could please stop laughing for just 1 second. I'm not going to make any headway like this. I'm just going to have to show her exactly how related to the KG8 incident she is. Well, it's this, isn't it? Her sister. Well, I presume it's her sister. Miss Yu, I believe that I have proof of your connection to the KG8 incident. That file is your proof? Very well then. Why don't you tell me exactly how I'm related to the KG8 incident? Through the victim. Your connection to the KG8 incident is through the victim. The victim's name is CCU. You will note that she has the same last name as you. Can you really still tell me with a straight face that you are not related to this case? Sorry, but we're not related. What? Huh? Just kidding. Oh, come on. You asked that question with such a serious look on your face that I couldn't help but... She is so easily amused. Miss Yu, I ask that you please tell me the truth. Alright, I'll tell you everything I know. Let's go. As you guessed, the one who reported the smuggling activities of the Amano group was my sister, CCU. As I thought. And she was killed right before she was to testify at the impending trial. That is a really small lipstick that she's got there. It's tiny. Really small. Anyway. By Manny Cochin. But because he was tried once and was acquitted, he gets to live out the rest of his cushy life completely carefree. Or because of a lack of evidence. No, I heard that the evidence to convict him did exist. What? I heard it from Mr. Faraday himself after Mr. Cochin's trial was over. Apparently, a man in black made off with the most important piece of evidence. Then the evidence had been tampered with? Isn't it just like a criminal to do something like that? Smuggling ring being run out of the Amano group by one of its secretaries. They bailed Mr. Cochin out. Turns out they were in league with each other all along. How big was that smuggling ring? Was it a large operation? I don't really know. Which is why I wanted to become the lead defence on this case that people are calling the second KG-8 incident. But I haven't learned anything new at all. I was probably expecting too much, I know. You mean, you think this case has nothing to do with the smuggling ring? I don't know what to think. What about Manny Cochin? Why did Mr. Cochin want to meet with you earlier? Actually, he came to watch the trial. Apparently, he only found out that I was the defence lawyer on this case after he'd arrived. He figured he should say hi and one other thing. Looks like you couldn't resolve anything this time either. Too bad. Oh, this Manny guy, if he did kill her sister, what a piece of work he is. But either he's an absolutely irredeemable person who's just goading the sister of somebody he killed, or he didn't actually kill her sister, and he's trying to get her to solve the case. What's that supposed to mean? Oh boy, stop it with the scary face already. I'm fine, really. I gave him a good slap across the face. The way she talks about slapping him as she laughs away is kind of creepy. But it's just as Mr. Bad said. He's not related to the double murder. I asked around and people in the gallery claim that he was in his seat the entire time. Talk about cruel fate. Well, this is about all I know. Sorry. Guess I wasn't much help, huh? That's not true. I'm sorry I made you recall such a painful time in your life. Edgeworth, you really are too serious for your own good. No, I think he's actually being appropriate. You know, it's... yeah, I think you're being unusual in this situation. You really need to learn to relax. We wouldn't want you to die of stress, would we? Thank you for the advice, but there's no need to worry. I work in my own way, and I will catch this criminal in my own way as well. You'll see. Look at you with your game face on, ready to go. I'm making no such face. You kind of were, Edgeworth. You kind of were. Did you know? Laughter is the best medicine, Edgeworth. Don't you get tired of making such a serious face all the time? I'm charged with making sure that all the criminals of this world are found guilty. Wow, that's going to take you a long time, Edgeworth. The whole world? I have no need for laughter. There you go, making that face again. Oh well. I've got to get going. I still have a few loose ends I need to tie up. KG8 incident and this murder investigation. It is my belief that these two cases are related to each other somehow. Plus, that detective, Detective Gumshoe. It's obvious he's lying, even though the lie is hurting his chances. Clearly, this case is far from over, yeah, I'll say. But whether or not that detective is the murderer can only be determined once I've completed my perfect investigation. Mr. Von Karma, I swear to uphold your honourable name, or my name isn't Miles Edgeworth. Oh, okay, that's the end of the first chapter of this episode. Nice, okay. Yeah, kind of a short video, but we will finish it there. I think that's a nice point to stop. I feel like the next bit, we're going to really dive into tying up this case, figuring out what's going on. Yeah, exciting, interesting case. I wonder how long this one's going to be, because the previous one felt really long and it did feel like it dragged a little bit. So hopefully this one isn't going to overstay its welcome. But anyway, thank you so much for watching until the end of this video. Your support really helps me and my channel, and it is very, very much appreciated. Remember to like, subscribe and turn on notifications to join my never-ending tea party. It's always tea time here on my channel, and you're welcome anytime. Thanks again, and I'll see you very soon in the next one. Bye bye.